This is an AQA Psychology GCSE revision video for the Paper 2 topic of psychological problems with a specific focus on the psychological explanations of addiction. So the psychological explanation of addiction suggests that addiction is learnt through experience. It's a nurture explanation of addiction, suggesting it's learnt through experience through other people, specifically through peers. So this is an opportunity to pause the video and think about the 3 questions on the screen about peer influence and addiction, and I will go through the answers in 5 seconds. So peer influence is the effect peers have on us. Peers are people of a similar age to us, or similar status or background, people we share the same interests with. So peer influence is strongest during our teen years, our adolescence, because we spend more time with them and less time with our family due to time at school, time, friendship choices, activities, etc. So that's what we mean by peer influence, and that's how addiction can be learnt through peer influence, through others and experience. Starting with social learning theory. Now, this is the idea that we would observe behaviour of a role model. Our peers may be our role model. Although they're a similar status and background to us, we might look up to them. So we might copy their behaviours, we might imitate them. We're more likely to imitate people if the model is rewarded, so we see them gain something that we quite like, and therefore we want to copy that behaviour so we can get that same thing. Or if we identify with them, if they have similarities or we admire them, like our peers do. So this suggests that addiction can be learnt through observation and imitation of our peers. Social norms also play a part. They are the unwritten rules about behaviour. And so we look to other people for how to behave as part of day-to-day life. With your peers, you behave and think like them because you want to keep your group membership. So if our peer group has a social norm of drinking, we will adopt that social norm to fit in, and that's where the addiction can begin. Finally, our peers can create opportunities for us. They might create opportunities to smoke or to try alcohol or to drink alcohol away from parents, away from people that disapprove of it. They might also provide the substance, so might be able to get their hands on cigarettes. They provide a place to go, and they will provide instructions through direct tuition of how to smoke or what mixer tastes best with certain spirits of alcohol, etc. They might encourage a person to down alcohol. All of those behaviours create the opportunities for addiction, because both with the examples of alcohol and cigarettes, they are highly addictive substances. So just trying those with peers can then lead to that addiction. And also the fact that you associate yourself with peers, you spend a lot of time with them, that can create the addiction within that circle of peer friendships. So that in brief is the psychological explanation of addiction. So understanding those key terms and making sure you can use key terms like peers, nurture, experience, environment, social learning theory, observation, imitation, rewarding of behaviours, social norms, and creating opportunities, direct tuition. All of those are a list of key terms. So if you want to rewind the video and note them down, use those to form the basis of the AO1 explanation of how addiction can occur through psychological explanations. Moving on now to evaluate. There is some information on the screen. Have a read over it and attempt the so what. How can you explain it? Is it a strength or is it a limitation of the psychological explanation of addiction? And in 5 seconds, I'll go through the answers. So the first one suggests that the peers we choose may simply be an effect of having addiction rather than the cause, because actually maybe people who are addicted choose to hang around with people who associate with those behaviours rather than the friends you're hanging around with causing the addiction. It could be the effect of having the addiction and therefore having those group of friends. You've got Cage, which is the twin study, which there is a video on already, which you can use to criticise and suggest that actually maybe there's a biological basis to addiction. But lastly, there is this research support which has found through 40 different studies there is a relationship between peers and smoking. So in 39 of the studies, there was a positive association between friendship groups and smoking, which is evidence to show that actually peers can link to smoking addiction, and therefore nurture could cause addiction. So there is evidence for that. That concludes the end of this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you found it useful.